Chapter 27. A true hero faces death many times, in many ways. My brother now faces it. Our grandfather says that a true measure of a soul is how it faces the moment of transition from one plane of existence to another. Many welcome the death, many cling to life with every breath. A true hero will not fear the death and will not fight to prolong life. A true hero is focused on the task at hand, not on the results of success or failure. Stupid, 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 Nakai said, scrambling to get his back against the tree behind him and his feet braced. Blood from his ripped up right shoulder flowed freely down his arm, dripping off his fingers. With his left hand, he yanked up his rifle, bracing it against his hip, pointing it in the direction of the creature's camp. The smell of rotting human flesh surrounded him, covering him in a sickening blanket. His shoulder throbbed in pain. Stupid, stupid, stupid. The trees in front of Nakai moved as the creature hurried forward. When Nakai had set off the trap, the creature had roared out of its sleep, scattering the vultures. Now the creature was crashing through the brush, heading right at him. Unless Nakai cut this thing in two, he was going to die very quickly, and in a very ugly fashion. As the creature appeared from behind a large brush, not more than 20 steps away, Nakai fired, doing his best to keep the gun level with just his left hand. But his best wasn't good enough. The long burst of fire missed wide, cutting down the brush 5 feet to the right of the creature. It roared, raised its arms towards him as it continued to come forward. It didn't have its helmet on, and its ant-like mandibles were moving, as if it anticipated a meal. Gritting his teeth, Nakai swept the rifle towards the creature, still firing, ripping into the trees beyond like an invisible chainsaw. The pain from the gun pounding against his bones sent stars through his vision, but he kept his finger on the trigger and the gun spraying bullets at the creature. He missed. Every shot missed. The creature leaped up, and Nakai's shot went right through the area where it had been a moment before. The creature grabbed with its taloned hands a tree limb 10 feet off the ground and swung onto it as if it were a child playing hide and seek. Nakai swept the gun upward, doing his best to aim it with his left hand only, and fired again. The creature leaped to the side. Nakai had expected it to leap closer, but it didn't, and he cut the limb it had been on into splinters. Nakai followed with more shots, ripping up the brush, knocking down limbs of trees, covering the smell of rotting human flesh with the smell of gunpowder, filling the area around him with a choking blue haze. Then the gun clicked. Empty. He had dreaded this moment. One-handed, this would not be easy. He swung the gun down as he ejected the magazine, then he braced it so that he could shove another magazine in place. He brought the gun back up to his shoulder as quickly as he could. He was slow by his normal two-handed standards, but fairly quick for one hand. The entire action took only 2 seconds. But a few seconds had been too long. He lost sight of the creature. He scanned the area. There was no sign of it, no green blood, no trail, nothing. The silence of the forest and the smell of rot dropped back in over Nakai, covering him in a layer of almost pure panic. Shit! He said loud enough for the word to echo. He had to stay calm, think this through. There was no chance that the creature was gone, that much was for sure. But for the moment it wasn't coming directly at him like a charging bull. Nakai knew that wouldn't last long if he stayed here. Keeping the gun trained forward, he quickly pushed himself to his feet, using the rough bark of the tree to steady himself. Pain shot through his injured shoulder, radiating like a hot dagger through his chest and stomach. He clamped his teeth together and used the pain to force himself into motion. He might have a chance if he got out of here. If nothing else, he could fire towards the sky to show the colonel where the creature was. The gunfire would be hard to hear from down here, but not from the lava flow. And the colonel had to be looking for a sign, any sign. Nakai turned away from the creature's camp and, staying low, headed back the way he had come. He moved faster than he thought he could. He had to get out of these trees. At least on the lava flow, he could face the creature in the open. In this brush, it could come up behind him and he wouldn't even know it. Or come down on top of him. A drop of green blood hit him squarely in the face an instant before the world exploded around him. From above, the rifle was yanked out of Nakai's hand, the strap broken like it was nothing more than a piece of cooked pasta. The pain from his shoulder coursed through his entire body. As Nakai tumbled and then managed to come up in a staggering run. Behind him, the creature took the rifle and smashed it against a tree limb like a child angry at a broken toy. Then, with a mighty leap, the creature sprang through the tops of the thin trees, landing on a large branch in a tree 5 paces in front of Nakai. But the tree was old and the huge limb rotten from too many hot summer days and swamp-like winters. The creature hit it squarely with both feet, and the limb snapped with a rifle-like rapport that echoed over the forest. The creature was caught by surprise, its feet flying into the air as it dropped towards the trail. Nakai didn't even slow down. The creature landed on its back with a smacking sound, and the air rushed from its chest as green blood sprayed in all directions. Nakai wasn't about to stop to see if it was alive. At the moment, he didn't figure a fall like that could kill a creature that 30 men with rifles could not. Nakai vaulted past the creature at the moment it hit the ground, running at his full speed towards the lava flow ahead, every step jarring pain through his shoulder. Behind him, the creature pushed itself to its feet, a thick wheezing sound coming from its mouth. Nakai glanced over his shoulder. The creature had turned around and was limping back towards its camp, letting Nakai go. Alive! Nakai couldn't believe his luck, but he didn't slow until he was back near the top of the nearest caved-in lava dome. Then he stopped and turned around to stare back into the trees below. He could clearly see the creature moving around its camp. Then, after a moment, it lay down next to the head of Sheriff Bogle, as if it were simply taking a nap. "Well, I'll be goddamned," Nakai said, finally taking a deep breath, then wincing at the pain. "The creature hurt itself with the fall." He stood there for a moment, doing his best to catch his breath, thinking about how lucky he was. He didn't have the gun. He couldn't warn the colonel in any way that he had planned, but he had escaped with his life. That counted for something. Then, slowly, Nakai turned and stared down into the volcanic hole behind him. And that quickly, he had a plan. A stupid plan, he knew. He should just head back to the colonel and report the creature's position. But the creature must be prepared for that. It had to know that the army wouldn't give up so easily. It had known too many other things. Maybe the fall from the tree had been a sign. If a fall from a tree could hurt it that much, what would a 60-foot drop onto lava rocks do for it? The problem was how to get the creature out of his camp and into one of these holes. And that was where Nakai came in. He quickly checked his watch. The colonel would be sending in tanks and more gunships in less than an hour. There was time.